Hey there, I am really excited to take you with me on another one of Anna Sue's adventures. We are going to do some snow day prep, organization, decluttering, cleaning out the junk drawer, cutting wood for our fireplace, and treasure hunting at Chosen Goods. Oh, and we'll also be cooking a little bit too. I love that you are here and hope that you find some inspiration in today's video. I'm Anna, and this channel is all about delicious recipes, daily life ideas, and finding joy in the day-to-day normals. And if you like that sort of thing, please be sure to hit that subscribe button or give it a big thumbs up. All of this kind of started with the weather channel saying that we were going to get a pretty big snow around here, more than 10 inches, which for where we live, that's pretty significant. And we were very excited about that. So we started out with making sure that we had plenty of wood for our fireplace, and we had my husband was out there, my son, my brother came over, and we made sure that we had plenty of wood cut for all of our fireplaces. You have a lot of trees on our property. This tree had to be cut down because it had died, and it was kind of sad because I had a beautiful wooden swing on it for many years, but it had died, so it was time to cut that tree down. But it made for the perfect fireplace wood. It was pretty cold, but once I started working with the guys, I definitely had to shed the coat because moving that wood, unloading it, and stacking it definitely warmed up the body. Had all the wood stacked, we covered it up so that it would stay dry, but we still wanted to leave a little bit of space at the top so that it could have air get to it. And then we went over and we were done with the wood splitter, so we wanted to go ahead and load it up and take it to the barn so that we could make sure that we had a screw that had come loose. We needed to replace that. We actually couldn't find it. So part of having different types of equipment is the men are always working on making sure that it has everything that it needs, that nothing's loose, that it has, the oil, the lubrication, all the different things that's there. And of course, they do involve me in any of that if I want to be involved, but they had to take that in to make sure that that screw was replaced. I didn't get any footage of them actually stacking up the wood, but I did just show that a second ago where they had the wood stacked outside of the basement door. Then I went downstairs, and this area is pretty clean space. You do want that space by your fireplace pretty clean. I needed to move the decorations that I had sitting there since now we're kind of in the wood burning season, but I opened up the cabinet that I had just to see what my husband had in there, if any of that needed organized, or if we needed anything replaced, and it all looked pretty good. And then after that, I went ahead and cleaned out the ashes in the fireplace, took them over and dumped them, and then got the idea that maybe we could use something to put our starter sticks in and the wood. And so we had to run an errand, and my son and I ran into Chosen Goods, where we found this cute little, it looks like a mini fireplace wood holder, and we ended up putting the starting sticks in there. And then I found this perfect little tray that's going to go beside our, or in kind of our coffee station. And then I also found this that I'm loading up right now to actually put a few pieces of wood in. So we don't bring a whole lot of wood into the house because it's just right outside of our back door, but we do like to have about 4 to 5 pieces in there right beside the fireplace. And so this works perfectly because it will catch the little, well, some of them, little pieces of bark and wood that falls off and gets right there on that part of the fireplace. So I just fiddled around with the little one and finding a good place for it, but I love them. I think they are both so cute, and we have been loving going into Chosen Goods to see what kind of thrifting things we can find in there. For Christmas, we got ourselves a family gift of this coffee barista system. Now, what's funny is I don't actually drink coffee, but the men in the house do, and we organized the space already to put the barista system there, but I just thought that all the little things sitting on the counter needed a place to go. And when we went into Chosen Goods and found that narrow container, I thought it was perfect for that space. But naturally, when you start organizing one space, the rest of the spaces need to be organized too. So I thought that putting the coffee beans over here in this area would be good. This is kind of my drop zone where I keep a lot of paperwork or filing or important papers or what needs to be paid. And what I ended up doing was raising up all of that paperwork, which now I'll have to get on the chair to reach it, but I raised up the paperwork and then raised up the shelf so that now the coffee beans and the filters can go right above that space, and clean off the space really well. I wiped everything down and then put the syrups, the honey, the caramel, and I wasn't sure about the sugar bowl, but it ended up fitting perfectly in the tray as well. So I was really happy with that find, and I think that it just helped organize the space a little bit, and I think it was really pretty. In the meantime, I had found a couple recipes for making a chai latte with this barista system. So once I figure that out, I'll have to show you how I do that. After that, it was time to clean out the junk drawer. I debated on moving the junk drawer entirely, but this is just a really good place for it. The reason I debated it was because I thought the drawer itself would be perfect for holding like the coffee pods or tea bags or different things like that. So it's not to say it won't happen in the future, but it is really nice to have this drawer as a go-to place for all of our junk. Sounds crazy to say we need a go-to place for junk, but we do. So I went through each thing, took everything out of the drawer first of all, and then just started putting it into piles. A trash pile, a move to a different location pile, a do we actually need this pile, and then a put back in the drawer pile. And I actually pulled my little table over so I had more space to work on and just separated everything there. I went through all the pens and pencils, writing utensils to make sure they all worked, and kept the ones that we needed, and just continued to go through that process. The one thing that I needed to check in with the men on was all of the cords. We have so many cords for different things, and I don't have a clue what half of them go to, but we do this occasionally. I do not throw them away because that could cause some serious problems, but I laid all the cords out so that when the guys got home, they could go through them and say, okay, we use this one, we don't. This one can go to a different place, figuring out what they are. Once the cords were organized, I was able to put everything back into the drawer and make sure that they were all in the right location. I like to keep receipts for a while, so after that I went through the receipts to make sure that there wasn't anything on them that we needed to take back, and they were all good to go, so it was kind of nice to be able to throw away a lot of those things. But the drawer looked really good once I was done with it, and I was glad to have that done. As cold as it was, we kept the fire burning, and there wasn't any snow yet, but when we woke up the next day right around 8 a.m., the snow started and the prediction was right. And it was very exciting for us around here because there was so much snow. And actually, as I'm sitting here recording this, I'm looking outside and it's snowing again, and it's just beautiful. It looks like I'm just sitting right inside of a snow globe, and the cleanness of the snow, just the softness of it. I'm so grateful for our creator who made this to enjoy, and it kind of reminds me of that old song, "He washes me white as snow." I just think it's something very beautiful to enjoy and look at. Something that I did not put on here was that also in preparation for the snow was getting the grocery order placed. So I went online, placed the grocery order, and put everything away. But on this day, when we woke up and the snow was starting, I made these Kodiak protein waffles, and also we had frozen a large batch of bacon into individual packages. Well, actually not me, my husband had. So we put that in the oven, and I have the recipe for that over on the blog at keepitsimpleinasue.com if you want to see how to make bacon in the oven. It is quite simple. And we fed the boys with that, and then it was time to get out into the snow. When my oldest woke up, he ground some coffee beans and got some coffee going, and then it was time to head outside. So my husband and I went outside earlier than they did, but the dogs came out too. They really are outside dogs, but they're getting so old now. They spend a lot more time inside. They like it. They have a lot of fur, obviously, so I don't really think that they feel too cold. The one thing that, I don't know if this happens to your dogs if you have them, but the snow will get balled up in their paws, and so I think that's uncomfortable for them because it feels like walking on rocks. But my husband was busy just clearing off the driveway and the different places in our property, and then he decided to make a snow angel, which the dogs thought, "What are you doing down here?" So that was kind of fun. And then we went for a long ride on the four-wheeler just to enjoy the snow, and did a little bit more shoveling. And we had and my dad, my brother was out here also working on clearing off some places around the property with the snow. But the kids got out, blew up the what do you call those, the inner tubes, and we have these deer sleds that we haul a deer in when those are harvested. So we tied those behind the four-wheeler, and the little ones got in that, and we just had a full day of being outside and playing in the snow, and it is beautiful. We just really enjoyed it. So before we went outside, I put some steel cut oats in the crock pot. It is one of our favorite recipes, and that is over at keepitsimpleinasue.com if you want that printable recipe. But I wanted something warm and cozy to come into after we'd been outside, and I laid out the ingredients for making homemade red velvet Twinkies. That will be over on the blog in a couple of weeks, but they turned out delicious, and I loved getting the pictures of them in the snow. If you're interested in more simple adventures, hit the card above for more of Anna Sue's adventures.